living history. This World War II plane led an invasion.
I'm reminded of having read that Eisenhower told the guys when they were coming in for D-Day that if you see an airplane overhead, it's ours. And we were not bothered a lot by the German airplanes. But during the Battle of the Bulge, there was a lull every once in a while, and we'd watch the fighter planes in their dogfights, and then we'd cheer every time they'd shoot one of the Germans down.
The C-47 plane, that's all brother, led a fleet of over 800 planes into enemy territory on D-Day, changing the course of the war. World War II veteran Vernon Miller was on board for a memorial flight in Birmingham. Now, Miller fought in the Battle of the Bulge, and though he wasn't a paratrooper, his time in the historical plane brought back memories.
I remember running by a machine gun nest, and we were in Pont-à-Mousson, France, right shortly after we got into the Battle of the Bulge. And I had to make a run out to pick up oil and gasoline for our unit. And I had to cross this bridge, and there was a machine gun there. And I watched the tracer bullets come. And eventually I realized, hey, they're shooting at me. But it was kind of fascinating. It was like the 4th of July. It was really pretty. But I got back to our base, and they had moved because where we had pulled in had been the wrong place. While I was gone, artillery came in and just clobbered it. Trees were all gone and everything. But I was gone when that happened.
That's All Brother is more than a name and more than nose art. It's Birmingham, Alabama pilot General John Donaldson's message to Hitler when he flew this plane into Normandy, coming up on 75 years ago.
It reminds us the courage that our armed services has when they carry out their missions. But it's important, it's incumbent upon all the citizens, if they value liberty, that we allow young people to see things like this.
Mark Lewis is Donaldson's grandson, and he continues to honor his grandfather's legacy.
It always made me patriotic. Watching what our forefathers do many times makes every one of us patriotic, and that's important. I am much more patriotic because of General Donaldson.
The Southern Museum of Flight helped to locate this C-47 plane because of its ties to the Magic City.
Actually, it really wasn't all that hard, believe it or not. I had the tail number, cross-referenced it to a book we had, and found an FAA registration. Any of these airplanes that have the numbers on the tail, anybody can look them up online. Found it, and found the guy that owned it at the time was in Arizona. Called him and said, hey, thought you might want to know your airplane led the invasion of Normandy. He was understandably excited, but unbeknownst to me, a couple years later he sold it, and that kind of lost track, and so it took a little bit to find it the second time. So I guess I kind of found it twice, really, but yeah, not terribly difficult, believe it or not.
Now the Commemorative Air Force preserves it and continues to fly it in its original glory.
And the cool thing is that the group that had it normally converts them into more modern airplanes and puts different engines on them and all this stuff, and totally changes them. And so this, when they restored this airplane, it was actually doing something literally the opposite of what they normally do. So that was kind of a cool part of it. But yeah, I mean, to see it back, I mean, it's a historic aircraft. I think it needs to be saved, or I thought it needed to be saved. So the fact that it is indescribable, really.
The upcoming 75th anniversary of D-Day brought the plane back home. We got to hop on board for the memorial flight, seeing firsthand the overwhelming force of patriotism. Now, General Donaldson's legacy didn't end with this C-47. He flew another one during World War II, known as the Belle of Birmingham. That name and nose art has since been given to another plane, and we were given a tour of the newer aircraft.
In and out with that, extend it, lower it, so they try to get airplanes that have windows, and they're trying to keep airplanes within a certain angle and a height and a distance in and out.
That's All Brother and the Belle of Birmingham sat side by side, commemorating D-Day and honoring our military.
So for me, this is a really great opportunity to acknowledge our history. It's a great chance to recognize the heroic acts of Donaldson and his crew, but also everybody that was in D-Day. And it's also a chance to tie this to our future. You know, we've got that airplane, our new airplane, and here at the 117th, we're committed to being the premier tanker unit in the country. So this ties it all together for us.
And this isn't the end of the road for the historic C-47. It's going to be in Normandy this June for the official 75th anniversary of D-Day. Reporting in Birmingham, Jesselyn Adams, CBS 42 News. Local coverage you can count on.